Yeah, man.
That's hot shit right there, man.
So what we gonna do? We gonna dub.
News networks are not even getting clicks like that. So this shows like there's an opportunity for this, what we're doing here on this show.
Look up something in back check, kind of like cross reference.
Yeah, I should put the.
Hey, look that shit up. That's the name of your show.
Yeah,
that's right. What really drew me in.
Remember, we want you to be an activist, and don't take our word for it. Look that shit up. Pulley. Going. Hope I don't get in trouble for playing that last video. I probably shouldn't have played that shit. I'm always testing the damn waters, bro. That shit gonna get me.
You are now
Who and what are we gonna complain about tonight?
You are now.
This is copyright.gov, U.S. Copyright Office. More information on fair use. Fair use is a legal doctrine that promotes freedom of expression by permitting the unlicensed use of copyright-protected works in certain circumstances. Section 107 of the Copyright Act provides the statutory framework for determining whether something is a fair use and identifies certain types of uses such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research as examples of activities that may qualify as fair use. Section 107 calls for consideration of the following 4 factors in evaluating a question of fair use. Purpose and character of the use,
This chick remind me my drink. Yo, this bitch is drunk on my drink. Yo, this trick is smoking my dang. I wanted to stop, but I can't. I'm leaning to the side, man. I'm leaning to the side, man. Yo, everybody vibing, the lights flashing, ain't nobody hiding. I'm full of passion. I see this chick smiling with her action. She said she from an island. I'm just passing. I said stop lying. We started laughing. Girl, what you drinking? I'm on that captain. Now we on pink panties with a napkin. I got a blunt dipped in brandy that we passing. Now we leaning to the side in the bass bay. She feeling on my thigh, my chain swinging, feeling alright now. The game changing, right on time now. We both swaying, do that new style now. Bojangles, I wanna see your tatas. Do those jangles, what about your now guys? I need angles, call me your papa. Grab your ankles, move like chaka chaka. When it's anal, I got to get ya. And it's painful, split you like a swisher. With a label, you know we can make it without being naked. We can make them think we fake it, shake it, make me take it. Yo, this chick remind me my drink. Yo, this bitch is drunk on my drink. This trick is smoking my dang. I wanted to stop, but I can't. I'm leaning to the side, man. 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 If you got a cup, put that shit up. Lean it to the side. Lean it to the side. If you got a fat cat and your drawers and bra match, lean it to the side. Lean it to the side. If you just got off of work and your fucking feet hurt, lean it to the side. Lean it to the side. If you shine fly and everybody know your ass high, lean it to the side. Lean it to the side. If it's getting hot and you drink Henny on the rocks, lean it to the side. Lean it to the side. If you a hot girl and you can stop and make it pop, lean it to the side. Lean it to the side. Yo, this chick remind me my drink. Yo, this bitch is drunk on my drink. Yo, this trick is smoking my dang. I wanted to stop, but I can't. I'm leaning to the side, man. I'm leaning to the side, man. I'm leaning to the side, man. Yes, I am drinking. Recording this shit. Yeah. This damn green man, it's got me sitting sideways. This damn lean man, it's got me sitting sideways. I'm on the scene, man, I'm sitting sideways. You don't feel like me, that's why you're looking at me. I'm riding clean and I'm flying down the freeway. Nowhere to be, so I'm taking me a free day. If it's a driving, best to listen to what he say. I'm higher than a child on the first day of pre-K. Drive slow, I ain't tripping on the delay. The cup I'm sipping on is giving dumb anyway. Anyway, the optimal action spilling on my khakis instead of the ashtray. Brush it off and keep it moving on. Shift my attention to what else I could be doing wrong. Sure, with someone on my phone I could be screwing on. So you alone, bring your whole crew along. Sit around the table playing beer pong. She's drunk, she bending over and she got a clear thong. I'm looking from the back, man, I got an ass on. Wake up on my back, where the grass come from? This damn green man, it's got me sitting sideways. This damn lean man, it's got me sitting sideways. I'm on the scene, and you know I'm sitting sideways. You don't feel like me, that's why you looking at me sideways. This damn green man, it's got me sitting sideways. This damn lean man, it's got me sitting sideways. I'm on the scene, man, I'm sitting sideways. You don't feel like me, that's why you looking at me sideways. I'm the king and we gon' do the things my way. I wanna see you in skinny jeans on Friday. When I'm leaning to the left, you better be leaning in the right way. I'm cleaner than a washing machine. If you hyperallergenic, get your antihistamine. You're like a tightwad caught in between a full of latrine and a pistol with a beam. Gotta get the cream is on top. ACE, we the team that won't stop. They calling me the dean cause I teach them what's hot. Thought you was a new thing, we can see that you're not. We have to get mean cause we're taking your spot. We wanna get a ring, sit in championship box. Call up your queens and tell them get blocked. When they see the muscle is supreme, your boys gon' kick rock. This damn green man got me sitting sideways. This damn lean man got me sitting sideways. I'm on the scene, man, you know I'm sitting sideways. You don't feel like me, that's why you looking at me sideways. This damn green man got me sitting sideways. This damn lean man got me sitting sideways. I'm on the scene, man, you know I'm sitting sideways. You don't feel like me, that's why you looking at me sideways. We thought you were the new thing, but we can see that you're not. Yo, we thought you were the new thing, but we can see that you're not. If you got your own and you clean, drop it like it's hot. If you got your own and you clean, drop it like it's hot. Everybody say wow. How you gon' jock my side? Say wow. How you gon' jock my side? Say wow. How you gon' jock my side? Say wow. How you
Strap your boots on, we finna march, we finna march, it's time to march. Strap your boots on, we finna march, we finna march, it's time to march. It's better to gun, never to run, so here we come, to sever the lung. Meticulous to the letter, ridiculous think you ever get with this lyricist. I really think I'll be feeling this shit forever. Gotta get my shit together, regardless of the weather. And if I think my mental's clever, smoking a switcher, sweet on leather. Them niggas can't keep me tethered. I'll fuck around, pull the levers. Hot while you niggas wearing sweaters. And they got people in place wherever. I really wanna shake the ladder, or maybe it makes me smarter. Really it makes me harder, make me better to raise my daughter. You people gon' check the order. How many wanna be a martyr? How many is getting larger? Any respect the father. Strap your boots on, we finna march, we finna march. It's time to march.
Strap your boots on, we finna march. We finna march. It's time to march. Live slide, situation, faces and names. Live slide, catching cases, chasing them games. Why you gotta kill for 15 seconds of fame? And why I keep it real but still expecting to change? Why do I feel like redirecting my pain? Smiling while I'm saying to myself I'm insane. Hating for your health, you can't help but be lame. Obsessed with the wealth and it's melting your brain. I done heard them discussions about cases and planes, and I done seen repercussions. I ain't touching the game. Choose the pictures you like, we just making the frame. You can have a light, but we taking the flame. Strap your boots on, we finna march. We finna march, it's time to march. Strap your boots on, we finna march. We finna march, it's time to march. It's better than gun.
Okay, that's enough of that. Hey, how y'all doing out there? How y'all feel? Remember, we want you to be an activist. Don't take our word for it. Look that shit up. What's up, Pat, man? How you feel?
Man, I'm a lot better, man. Wait, hold on. Yeah, you can. Yeah, no, I'm doing much better, man. Last couple of days, those drugs had me messed up. The hydrocor, I don't know, hydrocodone, I don't know, whatever that crap is. I can't handle that stuff, man. Like, and I didn't even take any yesterday. It just had me so messed up from the last, because I had the extraction on Tuesday, so Tuesday and Wednesday. Uh, I did full, the whole day, and then yesterday I did none at all. But I just kept falling asleep everywhere because just. But I'm here, man. I'm
That's good,
doing.
man. So you got the extraction taken care of. What
Yeah,
I would say about the drugs is like the doctors don't know about everybody's bodies and their tolerance. So you don't always want to, especially when it comes to pain meds, you don't want to follow. You know better than the doctor what your dosage is or should be or what you can handle. You get what I'm saying? If you're going by what they put on the bottle, yeah, you're probably going to be all messed up, especially if you don't normally take those kinds of drugs.
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure I needed it because of the, just the pain or whatever. But like I said, I mean, they just lingered in my body for long, those 2 days it had it linger. So maybe it was a little stronger or whatever, but I think the main thing they was just trying to make sure I wasn't allergic to it.
Yeah. And they wanted you to be comfort because see that's what they sell. They sell comfort, you know what I mean? So it's like the extractions are painful, they're really painful. Like it's like a surgery. So yeah. Those are like the few times that you can get those kinds of drugs. See, most people like those kinds of drugs, Pat. And you know, a tooth extraction is a perfect opportunity to get those kinds of drugs that people be wanting
I
because
guess.
they know it hurts really bad. But and like I say, they're just catering to you. Like, okay, we're gonna make sure he doesn't feel. You don't feel nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he made sure of that.
You was numb all over, not just in the teeth area.
Yeah, body now.
Yeah. So, anyways, the name of the show is "You Are Next," and it's I'm talking about the Supreme Court decision with the abortions. Did you see that?
I did.
Yeah, man. It's like I gotta say, I told you so, because that's what I said was coming. And like, man, I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised they leaked those documents, the draft opinion about it. So that was like preparing everybody for what's coming down the pipe.
Well, I mean, but I guess my question is, I mean, is it really the majority of people that want that, or is it just a select group that is really want that? Because I mean, looks like there was a lot of people that was happy that it happened, that it passed, because it's like, there's I mean, probably just as many people out there that are, pro-lifers than there are those that are pro-choicers.
Well, it's just one of those topics that's so divisive, you know. And I think that's the whole real point of it, And yeah, I think there's a lot of people on both sides, but I would say that most people aren't educated on the topic really. And then you've got the thing about what is it? Freedom of privacy, right? That's tied up in this. That's what they were saying. They were saying that the woman has the right to privacy, and they use that to grow into the abortion. You get what I'm saying? So when you backtrack the abortion, then now you're going back into the argument of the case originally of privacy rights. And
Well,
like I say, I don't think that people don't really understand how this, they don't really know, and so like, okay, so like if we the more the least are you agree that we should have privacy rights, right? Like a
well,
certain
well,
level of
well,
privacy.
I do, but I mean, how do you really enjoy privacy? I mean, do you share all your information with people and expect that they don't say something?
Yeah. Well, I don't think that people share all their information about getting an abortion with other people.
Well, I mean, but you're still sharing it with some major players that if it really came down to it, it just like they're not gonna, you know, just be like, oh well, that's Susie, and I'm gonna make sure hers doesn't get out. But you know what, Julie will just let her stuff. No, I mean they don't like. I wish people understood more or realized more that these people don't care.
At all.
I mean, regardless. I mean, you talking about privacy. I mean, you've given up probably all of your rights for privacy already just through social media. So I mean, you're talking about privacy. At what level?
Well, it's definitely that's definitely a complicated topic right there. Um, and I didn't come on last night because it would have been too late. And the night before they blocked the show, I accidentally showed a clip from HBO. I didn't know it was on Instagram, but that show was really great, y'all. It was great, and I'm gonna make clips of it and post it. Um, I talked about Patrice Lumumba, and we went over his history. We played his speech, that commencement speech, in his native in the language that he spoke it in,
Hmm.
and it was touching. And one of the things that he said that still lingers in my mind from that show is that he said, "Y'all didn't give this to us. You know what I'm saying? We took it. We made this happen. You know what I'm saying? We're not asking y'all for nothing." He's like, "We're equals. We're peers." And those lines I think are the ones that got him killed, man. They're like people don't certain segment of society just has to feel like they are bigger, better than others. You know what I mean? Anytime someone makes them feel like they're on level playing with feel with them, they have a real problem with it.
Well, I mean, deceit and evil does that. I mean, when you're like, I mean, when you want to be, like the whole idea for you is being number one, which I mean nobody is, but I mean when you think it in your mind, you believe something so crazy. I mean, yeah, I mean that leads to other insane ideas, like you're
That's what I
you know
that's what I hate about religion, because that's what I feel like it creates a fertile when it just like the fairy tales we tell our children when they're little. Like all of this stuff, Santa Claus, all of this creates a fertile freaking ground for this really insanity to grow.
yeah, No, it really does. I mean, I've dealt with it. I'm sure most of us have dealt with it firsthand. But there's there's a certain religion that I have family that's members of, and they swear that they are better than even the people that share the same blood as them because of you know a book. I mean, oh, we got more books in our Bible than you guys.
And because it's more number, that means it's greater and better.
I don't, bro. It's really insane that the way people believe, and n- not to realize what religion is in the first place. I mean, what it's supposed to do, it doesn't do. It separates most people. But you know,
And maybe that is the point of the organized religions. And that's the
well,
reason why I don't like to subscribe to one or the other. I don't like to say that I'm subscribed because then that's where, one of the things that I found myself doing that I still kind of do to this day, but I be trying not to do is like, like I like Muslims, I like Christians. I can't lie. And so, but like, you have different greetings that you do with religious people. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you can see it when you look at them, or you just feel the energy off of them, or whatever. And you greet them in that way, and then they greet you back. And it's but so then it's like, and then y'all call each other brothers and stuff like that, which is all of this is cool. Except the problem that I have with it is that, okay, now we feel like this guy is more important than the other people that's around him. You know what I mean? Because
no,
I connect with him with this religion or whatever. So he's more important to me than the other people around.
no. I mean, I don't know. Well, I mean, I don't know what it is for everybody else. I mean, for me, it's no difference. Like, I mean, I really don't care, if you're religious or not. If you seem to be a real person, because my religion is realism. If you real, at least to yourself, and the friendship that we have, or the association that we have, shit. I mean, you cool with me, but for, whether it's the assalamu alaikum or what, any of that, yeah, it's a cool thing to do. I like that exchange, but I don't really have anything special for anybody else. So I mean, but I don't think it necessarily puts them up on a pedestal because of that. You know what I'm saying? That's just, our way of, it's the what's up, what's up, fool? What up, Nick? You know, but either way, it's I don't know. I don't really put anybody on a higher pedestal, because I mean, I've seen both sides have good, great people. I've seen both sides that had some horrible people. So
I got some videos on this. I don't know if I want to play Joe Biden talking about it because he's gonna make y'all want to vomit. So
yeah,
he,
he already, yeah.
And we have reaction.
yeah, when I was I couldn't watch much. I didn't make it very far in the clip. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's a puppet, bro. It don't matter what he has to say.
It's
It,
just
it
so embarrassing, man. It's so sad, and it's that, like you be saying, it goes through my mind every time I see him talk. Like you said, it's senior citizen abuse. What they doing to him? Like I say, he don't even really. Everybody can see he don't really want to be out there. Like Joe, go out there. He's like, I gotta go out there again. What I'm
it
supposed to say?
but I mean,
Shit.
and then like earlier today, I was watching some news. I've been hanging with my mom for the past 2 weeks, pretty much. But watching the news and stuff with her. But I done seen a few times this dude fall over on the bike. I'm like, man, like, this is horrible, bro. Like, how did we end up here? And like they act as if he's the one that's really making, these judgment calls of what's happening around the world.
And I
But
think it's a show, and it's so embarrassing. That's what I mean. And then good cop, bad cop, and the whole thing with the Roe versus Wade getting overturned. Really, it was those Trump appointees that made this happen. But they've been working on this for a long ass time. But I was talking to somebody earlier, and I was saying, they put the last pieces in place
well, honestly,
when Trump was president.
I think this really says to me a lot of that. Really how much the federal government has no power. Like, I mean,
It's
I have to.
illegitimate. That's what I've been thinking about the Supreme Court, because you remember what happened when Obama, what was it, Merrick Garland, I want to say, he nominated for the Supreme Court because what happened? They stepped down, they retired. I don't remember what happened. They died. I don't know, because usually that's the only ways they go. So yeah, so Obama appointed this person, and they blocked the nomination for a whole year, talking about the election is coming. So as a result of this, Trump ended up with 3 appointees. Okay, and this was enough to push the whole court in a certain direction. 3 appointees. That's a lot. They're gonna stay in there forever. They're gonna die. That's the only way they're leaving. Bro.
Man, say, bro, look, if you don't think that all that stuff is like, I mean, 'cause, like, the more I look at it, the more I see that this, like, I mean, there's no science really. Like, the higher you get in politics, there's really no science. There's just that there's people that's in office that they can blame, blame things on, or just say,
Right.
oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, oh,
That's
well,
how it works. It's good cop, bad cop. And so it's like, oh, Biden is so inept and so incapable, and that's the reason why, things are the way that they are, or
Well, no,
whatever.
but that's, I mean, but it's easy to blame Trump when, okay, all right, so you're pretty much saying that Obama was too weak to go on and get his stuff done. I mean, that's kind of what
And
they're
I don't
saying.
believe
Like,
it. And I don't believe it either. So that means that's an evidence of them working together in collusion for things to be the way that they are now, because they aren't the ones that's really pulling the strings. It's other private interests. You know what I'm saying? The powers that be have, driving things in the direction that they want things to go in, and they got puppets on both sides of the fucking aisle for each different segment of society to subscribe to. And meanwhile, they still getting done whatever the fuck they want to get done, while we all fighting about stupid shit.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, winter's coming.
And the pinch is in. Let me play this.
Now from our local leaders here, Governor Steve Sisolak releasing a lengthy statement saying in part, quote, "This decision is devastating for tens of thousands of Nevada women, but it's exactly what my opponent wanted." Now, he's referring to Joe Lombardo, who is running for governor against Sisolak. Now, the statement goes on to say, quote, "I have been unwavering in my commitment to protecting the right to an abortion, and in Carson City, we've made progress expanding access to reproductive freedom and to critical contraceptives." Our newsroom reached out to Joe Lombardo's campaign. Right now, we're waiting to get a response on that. And new into our newsroom, Senator Catherine Cortez Masto also releasing a statement. In a tweet, she called this a devastating day for women in America. The senator continues by saying, quote, "I'm standing with a majority of Nevadans and Americans more determined than ever to fight for a woman's right to choose." Our newsroom also reached out to Nevada Republican U.S. Senate candidate Alan Laxalt for a reaction. Laxalt releasing a statement calling this a victory for life, also saying the Supreme Court was never qualified to rule on abortion laws. He also says, quote, "After more than 50 years, that responsibility is poised to finally return to its rightful owners, the American people and their elected representatives. The people of Nevada have already voted to make abortion rights legal in our state, and the court's decision on Roe does not change settled law, and it won't distract voters from unaffordable prices, rising crime, or the border crisis." Also in our city, we get visitors from all over the country. Lots of tourists come here in town, so we have reaction now. I'm going to head out to anchor Rachel Moore joining us live from the Strip with reaction on both sides of this issue. Rachel?
Kalina, I spoke to several women who are, many of whom are from trigger law states, and they gave me a mixed reactions. A lot of people did not want to go on camera. Obviously, this is a very sensitive subject, but it's also a very emotional one too. Take a listen.
I just think it's a travesty. It's horrible, nothing else. Well, it's just terrible. It's taking away women's rights that, Ruth Bader Ginsburg fought so hard for, and it's really upsetting. So
I think it's still a woman has a right if she doesn't want to have the child to go wherever she wants to have the abortion. But I think it's the right thing to put it back to the state.
I'm a teacher and I teach girls, and we do all these things to empower them to take control of their lives. And yeah, it pisses me off.
And we have reaction now from.
Yeah, what you got to say? What
Well,
say you?
To me, I think that, they were going too far with the whole my right, my choice, this, that, and the other, because like if you remember, like within the last few years, this is the thing that they've been fighting for was to be able to have an abortion all the way up to the moment of birth.
I don't know about that.
No, well, you missed it because this has been a conversation for the last few years. This is probably for the last decade. But this is something that's been going on, and that's where I believe the pro-lifers just was like, I mean, we I think that's really where they had an edge, because it was just like, it just wasn't enough. You know what I'm saying? They never satisfied with the amount of, what they were given or allowed to do. And now you done lost it all, because now you want to, be able to decide. You have your choice, like, go full term, 9 months, and the day before it's born, just decide to abort. Like, come on, bro. Like, I mean, you have no respect for science to say that, like, now at 9 months it's still not
They don't do that anywhere. You can't have no abortion at no freaking 9 months. Nowhere.
No, you could. No, but that's what they were fighting for. That's what they wanted.
Okay. Let me read some comments underneath the video right here. This one says, I'm confused. If the majority of Americans are for abortion, then there is no need to worry. State elections will settle the issue in each state. Why all the worry? Or does the majority of Americans really favor abortion? Surely you can trust the polls produced by the mainstream media, can't you? Well, what I would say back to this comment is that, do our representatives really represent us? Which side are you on? I bet you don't like Nancy Pelosi, or either that, or you don't like I don't know, whatever name on the other side, Mitch McConnell. You know what I'm saying? One of them two you hate.
I don't like either one of them.
So what I'm saying is, are those your representatives? So it's like you're saying, the politicians, the way our system works is just going to be like what everybody wants in each state. That's what they're going to get. I live in Texas. I bet you that a lot of people in Texas are pro-choice.
No,
and
I bet you. No, I think the majority is pro-life.
Well, I would say that there's a whole lot that's pro-choice. You know what I'm saying? So then here goes the argument of the where they talk about mob rule. So when it's like basic democratic rule, like if it's 51-50, you know what I'm saying? So then the 51s win, 51-49, and the 51 wins, and those are the pro-life, pro-life.
No, I think it's just like when it comes to like when we talk about LGBT. Nobody wants to really offend those people, but most people just kind of like, look, I mean, y'all just do what y'all doing over there. Don't do it here. You know what I'm saying? Like, most people they try to, it's being politically correct instead of telling you you're stupid, or like just buckle down and don't get pregnant if you don't, what I'm saying, instead of telling somebody don't be so childish, and look, just be responsible with your life and what you do with your organs, your sex organs. Instead of telling them that, it's just like, okay, yeah, well, I mean, I do believe you should have a choice. Like, that's really what it's come down to, is that they don't want to offend anybody.
No, I think it's all about control. Let me read some
No,
more
it's
comments.
not about control. Like, I mean, the whole thing about control is really how they're trying to use people. Like, okay, it's easier to use, like birth control and this, like for the important things. Like, I mean, if it was really like, because I mean, my thing, like, there's some issues with this whole, the way everything is playing out, because I think that people who get raped or gets pregnant due to incest or something like that, they should have some protections for that. But and of course, like, I mean, I think they do have the protections so that if you're in surgery or something's going on, for towards your life, life change, like if life or death decision, they can have the abortion or something happen like that. But to me, it's really a fight that, you know if it was nothing wrong with it in the beginning, like, there shouldn't have been anything to fight. Like, before there was no right for abortion. What was it?
It was women getting abortions,
It was
probably
just
more safely.
okay. m- n- what you mean more safely? Like, it was probably unsafe, and then it's like, okay, these women are doing it. Okay, so we need to figure out a way that for them to be able to do it.
Because that's what it's about. It's about the women's health. Let me read some more comments. It says, now let's see what Sisalix does. This decision has left up to the states. How does it affect tens of thousands of women if he himself can say it's legal in the state of Nevada? So yeah, so you're gonna have women moving around from state to state. Another thing this really affects is people who don't have income, poorer people. They're not gonna be able to go to another state to go get an abortion. So again, that's restricting people. Let me read some more. It says, it's not like we just recently discovered how pregnancy happens. The choice gets made before the child does. Don't want to get pregnant. Don't engage in activity that causes pregnancy.
Yeah, I mean, it really, I mean, like, it's acting as if humans are just like, like, are we really just animals and we can't like make decisions that's good for us?
Well, we can. So why do we need some person to come tell us what we can't do with our bodies?
Because you're proving, like, with us having this whole argument proves that, like, there's a group of people who can't, like, they, like, they're not gonna choose, like, they're not choosing to. 'Cause, I mean, if there's like
So then other
however many
people
million,
should make the decisions for them.
well, that's what it's come to. I mean, that's kind of what y'all, y'all pay y'all government to do.
Man, I hate that shit. Let me read some more. It says Nevada already has laws that allow women to choose, just a political show. Another one, it says the First Amendment provides that Congress makes no law respecting an establishment of religion. How does that relate? Because of the I'm gonna move on. It's next comment. It says a devastating day for women in America. Who is devastated about accepting responsibility for your own actions?
What about men not for the last 50 years not having a choice? Nobody cares about, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when it comes down to it, like, all right, what about the men?
Well, but the men don't have no baby growing inside of them, bro.
Yeah, but men still, but okay, but somebody, decided to have the act with the man, and then all of a sudden, oh well, you know, um, you know, they have all the right to decide if they're gonna have a child. If the man wants a child, then, like, he can't do anything.
And that's not right either. And the men should be involved in these decisions, especially if that's their child. So yeah, that's fucked up too. But pointing at something that's fucked up, that's kind of like how the white people be like, okay, well look, white people be getting killed by the police too. It's like, okay, all right, that's
Well,
fucked up too.
Well, see, but that, and and I get that, because guess what? That's true too. Just like the whole idea, like, okay, like, did maybe if the man was involved more, maybe there was, they didn't feel like they was outed so much, then maybe we wouldn't have an issue here. Maybe there would have been more of a resolve before, if the man's rights weren't trampled on throughout everything, and just like, oh well, my body, my choice. But yeah, but you decided to allow somebody else's body in yours, which allowed you, or which made you get pregnant to begin with. So, like, have you forgotten what we went through, what we did for you to even be pregnant? Like, you was okay with that choice, if you felt that part felt good, but now the whole idea of what it means to have a child, now you're just like, oh, then you know what, screw you and this baby. Like, maybe this would make women more responsible. Like, they don't have to be as responsible with that Roe versus Wade, because they can just ruin them, the life of the father and the child.
There's a control. This is all about control. It's a huge economic issue with this, because, like I said, with poor people, they're not going to be able to get the abortion. The people with the money will still, regardless. So, but the ones that are poor aren't going to be able to get it. They're going to be going to shady places and getting hurt and fucking themselves up.
Okay, well, look, it's been happening all this time. You think because they got to go to another state, that if they really want it, that they won't? Because, I mean, they've been figuring it out all this time.
That's not going to work for a lot of the girls, women and girls, because they're not going to have the resources to do that. So they're going to be doing other shady ass shit. They're going to be doing coke hangers.
You were kind of hesitant on saying women. So you're saying that this is mostly teenagers, like they're not adult,
They're gonna
old enough, old enough to make a decision like this on their own anyway.
They're gonna be the ones most likely to making bad decisions related to this. Yes, they're gonna be the main ones that's gonna be affected by this. Yes, they're gonna be the most likely one to stick a freaking hanger up in there and try to kill the baby on their own. Yes.
Okay, so maybe we can have a generation of young women, young girls, that will decide differently, because, hey, you know what? I don't have this as a crutch to lean on. I'm gonna have to actually, be with a guy that is gonna
Come
be
on,
there with
Pat.
me.
You was a teenager, right?
Sure was.
You ever got hot and heavy? Anything ever got crazy? Ever did some things that you probably shouldn't have?
No, I probably shouldn't have, but I did them, and I was taking responsibility either way. Like, that's the thing. That's the difference. I'm not a little punk.
So, and then what does it do to this child's life, having a baby, 15, 16 years old?
I mean, you mean like in the rest of the world, what people do? Like, because I mean, the age of having children is probably that age in most countries.
That's not a fair argument. So, but then, okay, so then we're gonna compare. We're talking
You're right,
about women.
but you're the one that's making that argument. So how you say
That's not a fair argument what you're making, because we're comparing them to women all around the world. Their circumstances are different. Like, maybe it might, depending on where you are, it might behoove you to have 5 kids at 14.
But why are their circumstances different? It's because that they look, in America, you have a right to do things that other people around the world cannot. And when you have to deal with the world the same way as others, now what?
That's a disingenuous argument.
How? Because that's a hard argument for you to fight. That's why you said it's disingenuous.
Because it's not it's not tangible. That's not a thing. Like we're putting all the women around the world on the same playing field in the argument of abortion.
They're a woman, right?
Yes, they are.
That's equal. Comparing apples to apples is not a disingenuous conversation.
It is when we're talking about economics. I was talking about economics. I was talking about what would happen to a young person having a baby.
Yeah,
it's not going to be the same in one country to the most of them other countries got freaking health care and shit, so it wouldn't even matter. They can have the baby. The government's going to pay for the child's freaking health care and living expenses in school and everything.
You're talking about like European countries. I'm talking about just the world, because I mean, European countries is not realistic compared to the rest of the world.
Okay,
like. They look out for white people more than they do the rest of us.
All right, I'm gonna play some Biden for y'all. So please, y'all don't throw up.
Now reporting, David Muir.
Good afternoon. We're coming back on the air because President Biden is about to address the nation concerning the historic Supreme Court ruling overturning Roe versus Wade. Let's listen to the president at the White House.
Right, so important to so many Americans, but they did it. It's a sad day for the court and for the country. 50 years ago, Roe v. Wade was decided and has been the law of the land since then. This landmark case protected women's right to choose, her right to make intensely personal decisions with her doctor, free from the interference of politics. It reaffirmed basic principles of equality, that women have the power to control their own destiny, and it reinforced a fundamental right of privacy, the right of each of us to choose how to live our lives. Now, with Roe gone, let's be very clear. The health and life of women in this nation are now at risk. As chairman and ranking member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, as Vice President and now as President of the United States, I've studied this case carefully. I've overseen more Supreme Court confirmations than anyone today, where this case was always discussed. I believe Roe v. Wade was the correct decision as a matter of constitutional law and application of the fundamental right to privacy and liberty in matters of family and personal autonomy. It was a decision on a complex matter. It drew a careful balance between a woman's right to choose earlier in her pregnancy and the state's ability to regulate later in her pregnancy. A decision with broad national consensus that most Americans of faith and backgrounds found acceptable, that have been the law of the land for most of the lifetime of Americans today. And it was a constitutional principle upheld by justices appointed by Democrat and Republican presidents alike.
That's enough. Why does he keep scratching his nose?
Because he needs that coke to stay awake.
I'm telling you, man. That's what I was thinking. Like that's that. Is it leaking, y'all? Is it leaking? Am I leaking?
But no, man. Look, bro. No, you know what I was thinking about why he was saying that? You know, because we're talking about Roe versus Wade being 50 years old. He was in politics when all this happened. Like, he could probably remember when that ruling happened. And for him to turn around and still be in office when they overturn it.
Oregon and Washington are two of
I think this one breaks down how it works with the different states. Let me see.
17 states with laws protecting abortions. Now that Roe v. Wade has been overturned, we have been receiving statements from our local legislatures saying they will fight to protect abortion rights here. But as we told you, states' laws can now change on the issue depending on future state bills put into law or voted on by citizens. We want to bring in Ben Gaskins, political science professor at Lewis and Clark College, for his live analysis of this ruling. Ben, thanks for being here. A lot of people wondering what this means for abortion rights access nationwide going forward, including Oregon and Washington down the road, even though it's protected in our states right now.
That's right. And as you said, we will have two separate sets of laws around the country where many states like South Dakota and Alabama, who've moved already to effectively ban abortion from the moment of conception, will be able to enforce those laws, where states like Oregon and Washington will be able to more or less carry on as usual with their abortion laws that are on the books as well. And there's nothing in this ruling that prevents states from maintaining a very open abortion laws. I think one of the next big debates will be for things like medicated abortion, where you can get pills that will allow people to have an abortion at home through the mail. This morning, Merrick Garland said that those procedures will be able to continue, that that access to abortion pills will continue nationwide. But many states that are going to put in bans on abortion within their state borders are also attempting to kind of clamp down on the ability to send or receive abortion pills in the mail. So that's going to, I think, be the next area for conflict, especially between the federal government and more restrictive states right now.
Very interesting. Okay, so we want to take a look at Justice Samuel Alito's statement from his opinion. It reads, quote, Roe was egregiously wrong from the start. Its reasoning was exceptionally weak, and the decision has had a damaging consequences. It's time to heed the Constitution and return the issue of abortion to the people's elected representatives. What did you make of his opinion?
Well, this is really the culmination of almost 50 years of conservative legal reasoning that has taken Roe v. Wade as this exemplar of federal overreach of, in their mind, kind of inventing a right out of whole cloth that doesn't exist in the text of the Constitution. And so the whole idea of a right to privacy that Roe v. Wade was grounded on is something that conservative legal theorists have been pushing against, again, for 50 years. And what Alito is saying is really, again, the encapsulation and the victory of that effort to try to roll back the right to privacy as something in the, guaranteed by the Constitution.
I was looking at Twitter before the show. A lot of people on social media concerned about not only this, but Clarence Thomas's statements regarding other cases, regarding same-sex marriage, regarding contraception. How big of a concern should that be at this point?
Well, it seems to be a very big concern, especially for people on the political left, that these, the rights to same-sex marriage, in particular contraception, are built on kind of the same legal reasoning that Roe v. Wade was built on, and that a court, that a 5-4 majority that is willing to overturn 50 years of precedent for access to abortion would have no problem overturning, 7 years of precedent when it comes to the rights of same-sex marriage. So I would not be surprised at all for these kinds of cases on contraception, on states' desire to ban same-sex marriage within their own borders, within their own laws, will make its way to the Supreme Court. And I think.
See, I don't think that y'all understand like the depth of this. Look at the direction that it's going in, because that's what it's going to be. And it's like I said before about how like what people are doing in their bedroom, like me and you don't care about that, but there's people out there that do. So if you're doing something in your bedroom that they don't approve of, they're going to be coming for you on that. You're going to have to move out of that state.
No, that's not true.
You don't see that coming?
No, because I mean, the thing is, because see, you don't realize how, because like you don't see, because now we're talking about same-sex marriages or something, like you don't see heterosexual couples out in the public trying to be seen in certain ways, or like, bro, like is, when you're able to just live life, do whatever you do, and move on, like things will be better for you. But you won't
They
get
used to
caught up.
have laws on the books against sodomy. That was against the law to sodomize.
Okay, and then how are they supposed to know you're doing it? How would they ever know that that's what you're doing?
Look in the window. I don't know.
Really?
So I mean, so you're okay with them having a law like that on the books?
I don't care. I'm not into all of that. Look, when they gonna change when they gonna fix this damn fuel crisis? That's what I want to know.
They're not gonna fix the fuel crisis because they're working on shit like taking us back to the Middle Ages.
The Middle Ages. Okay. Well,
They're more concerned with that. They want us to be walking around like in Handmaid's Tale.
Well, I mean, look, y'all have fed the dragon. You expect the dragon not to grow. I mean,
We all gonna be walking around looking like the Amish, talking about over his eye.
Hey, look, say, bro. But you know what? I think the world was better at that point.
They burned witches. They burned witches at the stake. All you had to do to be a witch was walk by a guy and he get an erection. Witch.
I think there is a very good chance, as Justice Thomas outlined, that at least 5 justices under the court as it stands would be willing to overturn those decisions as well. And so I think this is kind of a marker for where the court is heading when it has 6, strong conservatives on the court and 5 that are definitely willing to overturn precedent in order to implement their judicial vision.
How did former President Trump's term in office ultimately affect this vote? I mean, he obviously appointed several of these justices.
There we go. Here we go. Yeah, blame it on Trump.
Yeah, you can't overstate
make him the worst.
Importance of the 2016 election for getting us to where we are today. That by replacing Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Anthony Kennedy with more consistently conservative justices on the issue of privacy and abortion, moved the court away from one where there's more of an institutional approach to this issue, where John Roberts would be unwilling to make a sweeping change to precedent, to one that is much more bold in how it addresses social issues, the right to privacy, and abortion as well. So the court today is just qualitatively different than it was just 6 or 7 years ago. And 6 or 7 years ago, before Trump's term in office, the court would not have made this kind of ruling. But today, there are 5 justices that are clearly willing to do so, and 3 of which come from or nominated by President Trump.
All right. Well, Ben Gaskins, thank you so much for your insight on this historic day. No matter where people stand on this issue, it's a big moment in history for the U.S. And I'm sure we'll be checking in with you again.
Well, it seems like Trump must be more effective than the rest of them. That's what they're telling me. Trump was way more effective. He's gone, and his decisions, the things he did, it impacts us more than the people who are here now today.
We want to get back now to our top story. The U.S. Supreme Court overturning the Roe v. Wade decision and wiping out the constitutional right to abortion. Our Bloomberg Washington correspondent Joe Matthew and host of Sound On live outside the nation's top court. And Joe, sort of any sense that things are picking up there and getting busier?
Well, they are. I wanted to move closer to the court so you could actually see the size and scale of this crowd that started gathering just before the ruling was even announced, before 10 a.m. Of course, a lot of these people didn't know what the news would be. But if you look behind me, you can see they had signs underway. They had a plan underway, and many of them are organized, both pro-life and pro-choice, represented here in front of the court. You can also see the security barrier behind me that wraps around the Supreme Court. That's been in place since the draft opinion first leaked. There are a good number of Capitol police officers here as well, just off to the side of our camera. They're here and have have been for hours, although their numbers have been building as well, with some concerns about what might happen later today and tonight once nightfall happens. In the meantime, it has been a peaceful but very active protest. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was here to whip up the crowd, at least the pro-choice members of the crowd, a little while earlier, and we suspect that we'll see a few other newsmakers come through here, as a lot of people are just getting their heads around this, and many, when they heard the news, are making their way here to the Supreme Court.
Man, this is what I tell you. They making such a big deal out of this thing, man. Like, this is, say, bro, y'all don't see how this is like meant to trigger people. Like, listen, like, you're triggered by this whole thing.
I am, because I feel like we're going backwards in incremental steps.
So I mean, like, because I don't know, I just, man. Okay, well, look, I feel sorry for you guys that's being affected by all of this, because, you know, it's a shame. I mean, you shouldn't have to deal with all of this, but, you know, I guess it just is what it is. I mean, you know, you're allowing people to have control over your life. You know, if you know, I don't know, bro. I'm gonna just let it be. I don't think it's really that.
This affects mothers, sisters, daughters, wives.
I think it affects irresponsible mothers, daughters, and whatever. I mean, I don't see how it bothers anybody who's truly responsible in this world, and people, or even to people who teach their children to be responsible. Like, this affects the irresponsible people of our country.
Earlier, you said that it should be exclusions for incest and rape. In the Texas law, there isn't.
Okay. Which, I mean, that's something that they might get around to at some point. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if I'm gonna just say, I mean, whatever, because I mean, I don't see that that's gonna happen for me and anybody that's close to me. I'm not gonna wait for the government to handle that. I'm gonna handle that.
Not everybody's gonna have means like that.
Well, I don't understand. Everybody's not gonna have means.
Everybody don't have the means like that. What you're saying is, you know, I'll just take care of it. But you have the means to do that. Not everybody do. Most people don't.
Okay. So what is that? What does that tell you? Like, if this happened to you and you didn't have the resources, I mean, you know, because like I said, outside of incest or rape, and a female that you're dealing with gets pregnant, what do you suggest? She should travel to New York so she can get an abortion?
I mean, what I'm saying is your choices, you're going to be more and more limited, and the least amount of resources you have, you're going to be more and more limited.
Well, I mean, with those, see, the thing with having too many choices allows you to make bad mistakes. Like, I mean, you're ruining your body. Like, instead of like, you know, we need to get to a point where, you know, women are not, you know, so easy to just, you know, look, yeah, sex is great, but at the same time, you know, if you're not ready for, like, you need to make sure, look, you not only do you take birth control, but make sure he wearing a condom. Like, look, double protect yourself. Like, bro, like I don't get like people whining and crying. I see a woman on the thing crying, barely can talk because of all this. But and then I mean the part when they talking about the privacy, bro, like they don't look. You have given up all your privacy already since 2001.
All right, so joining us now.
I'm gonna play this one. Maybe it'll break it down. Let's see.
Does anybody remember the Patriot Act?
The Patriot Act?
Yeah.
I don't remember what that one entailed because they always have those names like that.
Was
that after 9/11?
That yeah.
And it was okay, yeah, it's starting to come to me. It's the one where it was okay to spy on American citizens, you know, for the safety of the government or some shit like that.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So what about that?
That's like I say, that's like saying what about white people getting killed by cops? Like how does that
it's not. No, it's not. It's bringing reality to the things that you're crying about already exist. Like you're whining about something that already, like, look, I mean, you saying that you can't have an abortion. Okay, all right, that means that you've already given your rights up to these people or this government. Like, I mean, you are subject to their laws, their rules, that whatever they tell you to do, you better do it. Or
so how would it work in the tribes with this topic?
With this topic, we're self-governed, and if we make a decision that, I mean, we live with those type of decisions. We're not putting ourselves in a position where we're just getting pregnant by somebody we don't want a child with.
Yeah, but if you are in a situation like that, then what would be the process?
We don't do it. That's the thing. Like, it doesn't happen.
Everybody is completely mature and responsible, and they don't make babies that they didn't intend to make.
Yeah.
Dive on the legal implications. CBS 8's Chris Grow.
Yeah, Chris, you spoke to a constitutional lawyer sort of break this all down. What did he have to say?
Yeah, I mean, it's important to point out that today's decision, what happened with the Supreme Court, did not make abortion illegal. It simply just gave the states the right to decide that. And when we talked to Dan Eaton, we really wanted to break down not only that, but the impacts, not just for today, but moving forward.
As a result of the majority opinion, there is no federal constitutional right of a woman to terminate her pregnancy.
And so we want to go back to that map that you just saw with Skylar Henry. 26 states that are expected to outlaw abortion. Yellow means they have trigger laws in place. The orange are certain to ban it based on pre-Roe laws or statements from lawmakers. And the others with those stripes are likely to implement bans based on what we know with this state's politics. Now, we know the trigger law in Texas says that all abortions will be banned from fertilization. No exceptions for survivors of rape or incest. Exceptions would be given to save pregnant patients' lives. Now, doctors who perform abortions could face life in prison, fines up to $100,000. However, the Texas AG did say it would not go into effect today or even 30 days from today. So they're still working on that timeline. Here's Eaton on those states that don't have something in place yet, but are likely to.
You're going to see a great deal of action very, very quickly in these red states, in these conservative states. And you are going to see an awful lot of action also in blue states, including in California, the other way.
Yeah, California lawmakers are working to strengthen our status as a sanctuary state. They approved a bill that would protect abortion providers and patients from legal action launched in other states. And we are very likely to see Governor Gavin Newsom sign that. It just depends on when, whether that's going to be today or at a later date.
He is expected to speak at 1 o'clock today. So, of course, we will.
This also, there's a fundamental thing that this is doing. It has to do with the sanctity of the unity of the United States. You know what I'm saying? When you got states pulling in one direction and states pulling in another direction and trying to cover for other states and, you know, all of this, you know, that's issues. You know what I'm saying? That's drama. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened when you led to the Civil War, when you bleed in Kansas and all of that shit, slave state, non-slave state. So now we're going to have abortion state, non-abortion state.
But see, but look, this is a slow unwind of the United States for what people know of it, because it's really dead. The United States is dead. It's not even a real country. You know, I mean, as far as like a true government respected by the rest of the world, it just isn't. And this is like an unwind of things that it did, so that people can be prepared to accept each state to run on its own, for you to have mainly just local government until, you know, there's something greater comes around. But
yeah, I can't stay up too late. I gotta work a double tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm going back to work tomorrow myself. So
let me play this.
To put a piece of fabric on their faces temporarily to save people's lives, to stop the spread of a lethal virus. They couldn't be bothered with that. They argued that that was too invasive, that it was a violation of their bodily autonomy. Oh, it was a violation of their liberties. Take a look at what happens to a woman's body, both during pregnancy and during childbirth. And try to compare that to the very easy action of putting a mask on to protect people from dying due to a contagious virus. Nah, these people, they were never, ever sincere about wanting to protect life. They watch us die day in and day out based on their policies, based on their refusals to take care of the American people when they're down on their luck. How many people die of poverty in this country? How many Republican lawmakers have fought aggressively to cut down whatever is left of our measly, minuscule social spending programs, which overwhelmingly help children living in poverty? And then they turn around and they tell us, no, we want to control women's bodies because we care about lives. They never have cared about lives. This is really about power and control. And if you look at the roots of the anti-choice movement in this country, you will learn that it was never, ever about protecting lives. It was all about ensuring all of these right-wing organizations, all of these religious leaders came together to force their ideology upon all of us. And that we're dealing with the consequences today. They couldn't be bothered to put a piece of fabric on their faces temporarily.
What you think about that?
Hot air. I mean, she didn't really say much to me. I mean, she started with one thing and then like jumped to something else. I mean, what is her real point? What is she trying to?
Yeah.
What is her real argument? What is she really arguing about? Mask, or is she, the whole idea about women's rights? I mean, what is she arguing?
Yeah, she was jumping around. She's emotional. Let me play this.
Purposes of the 14th Amendment. And the book explains that.
Do you accept that?
That's the law of the land. I accept the law of the land, Senator. Yes.
Is Roe a super precedent?
How would you define super precedent? And I'm answering a lot of questions about Roe, which I think indicates that Roe doesn't fall in that category. And scholars across the spectrum say that doesn't mean that Roe should be overruled. But descriptively, it does mean that it's not a case that everyone has accepted and doesn't call for its overruling.
As a judge, it is an important precedent of the Supreme Court. By it, I mean Roe v. Wade and Planned Parenthood versus Casey. Been reaffirmed many times. Casey is precedent on precedent, which itself is an important factor.
Senator, as the book explains, the Supreme Court of the United States has held in Roe versus Wade that A fetus is not a person for purposes of the 14th Amendment. And the book explains that.
Do you accept that?
That's the law of the land. I accept the law of the land, Senator. Yes.
Is Roe a super precedent?
How would you define super precedent? And I'm answering a lot of questions about Roe, which I think indicates that Roe doesn't fall in that category. And scholars across the spectrum say that doesn't mean that Roe should be overruled. But descriptively, it does mean that it's not a case that everyone has accepted and doesn't call for its overruling.
So, in case y'all didn't catch on, that was, each time those three got confirmed, those specific question of Roe versus Wade came up, and that was their answers. So basically, they were saying, Roe versus Wade, it's cool. But all three of them voted for overturn Roe versus Wade.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna tell you. I mean, there's gonna be irresponsible women that's gonna end up in those abortion states, and I mean, that's just kind of people who are championing this whole thing, because I mean, first of all, like it shouldn't bother the average person, the person who is not out here making these, what I'm saying, like, okay, you got friends, that's irresponsible, and you're like, oh girl, I feel sorry for you because I know you can't do no better than what you've been doing, and this is really gonna affect your life because you just ain't shit and you don't make good decisions.
We shouldn't be ruled by religious dogma, like period.
What
happened to the separation of church and state?
It's not religious dogma, but where does the original laws even come from? Like, bro, like, come on, man. Like,
where does it end? Where's it gonna stop? Whatever the evangelicals want. No, we should not be ruled by freaking religious dogma. That's what it is.
but you can do anything. So is there anything such as right or wrong?
Well, we talk about that all the time. That's perspective.
Okay, so when you get that into a massive, like to the masses that looking at it that way, because everybody can't handle that perspective, because I mean, that's gonna send the world into a whirlwind just by itself. Oh, there's no right, there's no wrong. Oh, I can just shoot, I can plunder and pillage and do whatever and shoot. I mean, who's the judge? Who's to say I'm right or who's to say I'm wrong, or who's the like just shut up and accept every little thing that I do, because guess what? There's no right, there's no wrong. Where's it gonna end?
And where's it gonna end with the direction that they're going in? Let me read this. It says, in future cases, we should reconsider all of the court's substantive due process precedents, including Griswold, Lawrence, and Obergefell. That's Clarence Thomas. This is a caption underneath. It says, if you want a glimpse of the right-wing Supreme Court majority might be willing to go now that Roe versus Wade has become overturned, look no further than the words of Justice Clarence Thomas himself. In a concurrent appearance to the court's decision on Dobbs versus Jackson, Women's Health Organization, Thomas said that the court, having now upended nearly 50 years of established abortion rights in the U.S., should also reconsider all of the court's substantive due process precedents, including Griswold, Lawrence, and Obergefell. In those cases sound unfamiliar to you, Griswold was a landmark 1965 case protecting the right to contraceptives. Lawrence was a landmark 2003 case that ruled the criminal punishment for sodomy between consenting adults was unconstitutional. And Obergefell was a landmark 2015 case that guaranteed same-sex couples the right to marry. So, no same-sex marriage, no sodomy between consenting adults, and no right to contraceptives. So not only can they
They not, you know what I'm saying? You can't get an abortion, but you're not going to be able to get no condoms either, or IUDs or none of that.
Well, look, let me ask this, because like these state representatives are made up of from the state. These are the people who fill up our House of Representatives, our Congress. Why, why, how is it that, it's at some point, like now, these people, these different states that make up our government, that make up the federal government, now can't make the decisions within their own state now? Like, I mean, these are the same people. Like, I mean, you're I'm just not, because I mean, nobody made it illegal to have an abortion. It's just up to the state to decide if that's what they're going to do in that state.
Therefore, most of the states are choosing to make abortion illegal.
Okay, so which means that that's a majority of our country. If the majority of the states means that's the majority of our country that believes that there's a problem with abortions. Like, people are overusing it. Like, something's wrong here.
Or you could have politicized a topic, energized the public, brainwashed an uneducated public, and led them to, do something that you wanted them to do that you wouldn't have been able to get them to do otherwise. If they were thinking of themselves, thinking for themselves.
Okay, well, I mean, if if it would live was, I mean, if we had a public that, did their thinking for themselves, I mean, we wouldn't need the government in the first place, right?
Well, I'm a fan of limited government. I mean, I think just like war, like protection and collecting taxes. More than that, I don't think you need them. Stepping in for to handle disputes.
I mean, you don't really need the government for that. I mean, you have a police force, you have somebody within your community to be over a good police force or something that will, help with that. So I mean, I mean, it could be somebody that you pick out of your own peers. You know what I'm saying? Somebody within your own community that can do that.
Yeah, but you can't not if those disputes was between different communities. Like, let's say it was a state versus another state, region versus another region.
Well, I mean, now if they're intruding into your state, doing things that they shouldn't, you pop a cap in their ass. If they make it to the other side of the line, they safe. If they don't, then dig
And
a hole for them.
that's not an environment that you really want to live in. That's a war time, all the time environment. How do you do trade? How do you have a functioning society under circumstances like those?
Well, bro, I mean, honestly, like we're kind of live in that day to day. I mean, we don't look at it the same. May not see it the same way, but I mean it's not state against state as far as I can see. But I mean, shoot, the state against citizens is a war going on every day. Bro, that's war all the time that people just kind of have been desensitized to, just accept it as just this is what it is. I mean, it's not really different, bro. Like, that's the part that I think that, like, I want to get across more than anything, is that, like, okay, you still got the right to do it. If okay, it might cost you more to get across the country to try to get to, the promised land, the freedom land, to be able to go just do this whole, this act, go have an abortion somewhere. But it's not like you can't get it done. There's people that's gonna be like, shoot, that's where they bread and butter gonna be. You know what I'm saying?
And let me play this clip.
Your own. Pro-life conservatives are obsessed with the fetus from conception to 9 months. After that, they don't want to know about you. They don't want to hear from you. No, nothing. No neonatal care, no daycare, no Head Start, no school lunch, no food stamps, no welfare, no nothing. If you're preborn, you're fine. If you're preschool, you're fucked. You're fucked. Conservatives don't give a shit about why. Why is it that most of the people who are against abortion are people you wouldn't want to fuck in the first place, huh? Boy, these conservatives are really something, aren't they? They're all in favor of the unborn. They will do anything for the unborn. But once you're born, you're on your own. Pro-life conservatives are obsessed with the fetus from conception to 9 months. After that, they don't want to know about you. They don't want to hear from you. No, nothing. No neonatal care, no daycare, no Head Start, no school lunch, no food stamps, no welfare, no nothing. If you're preborn, you're fine. If you're preschool, you're fucked.
What do I think about that? Because with my conservative ass, I believe that look, I mean, it's an ongoing story. People, that are prone to be more irresponsible will argue this fact or try to make it seem like it's righteous for these abortions and this. No, like there's no need. Like if you're doing the right thing, no, you have planned and put things together for preborn, afterborn, preschool, and this, that, and the other. I don't like you support like if you really, can self-govern yourself. If you, because I mean that's the whole thing with conservatives. We're more on the like with the Republic side, where it's you can govern yourself. You should be able to govern yourself. But if you out here making stupid mistakes, and I got to come up and figure out a way to take care of the mistakes that you're making, allowing, what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it. You can point the finger as much as you want, but it just be more responsible.
Well, you're talking like nothing ever happens. Like people don't make mistakes. Let me I missed some damn comments a long ass time ago. I'm real late. I'm sorry, y'all. It says, off with their heads, laugh my ass off, true. Papa Joe fell from his bike. And if you can't abort, maybe people would think twice before having sex. Yeah, right.
Oh, you didn't want to hear that, did you? Who said that? Doc? Is Doc sitting in the background somewhere?
No, that's not Doc. Yeah. And
I mean, there's more people that think that way than you might think, because it's just like, bro, I mean, like we got to get it together. Like, I mean, like we got so many failures here in America because we just give, so many, like, I mean, look, I fall into the obese category, but it's because we have too many options to eat bad that,
So you're saying that people aren't responsible enough to not eat trash just because they have all these options to eat trash?
What?
That's what it sounds like you're saying. This is Michael Moore. Let me read this right here. Michael Moore posted this. It's this is a picture from Handmaid's Tale, and his caption says, "Make no mistake, the Supreme Court, 2/3 men and 2/3 Catholic, today forced its religious zealotry and bigotry upon an entire nation. We are now all told we must adhere to the teachings of the Catholic Church and Jerry Falwell. A fertilized egg is now a full-blown human being. Madness. This is all about the patriarchy wanting to continue their control over the majority gender, to keep their boot on the necks of women. to enforce the fact that these women are nothing more than second-class citizens, breeders, forced to give birth against their will. Shame.
You don't think it's they're saying Catholicism, but you don't think I mean because I mean Catholicism isn't the only religion that thinks that way. I mean Islam doesn't believe in all that like abortions and stuff like that.
So what happened to the separation of church and state?
I said that earlier, and they're talking about the Catholics on the Supreme Court specifically. The Supreme Court is the ones that's made these decisions.
But that's the thing. But see, it's not illegal to have an abortion. It's up to the states now. So now you don't respect the state that you live in because
It's
now
still illegal because if you got to remember the legislation that was created that allows any citizen with the knowledge of a woman traveling outside her state of origin to get an abortion, they now have the ability to get $10,000 for snitching, and they don't even have to know you. So that is an illegality because she's going to go to jail. Not to mention, there's also provisions in that law that says if you have a miscarriage, you can go to jail.
I think they already took a lady to jail for that. I saw a story about that here in Texas.
I would say I know that they had that they came up with that for Texas. So is every state doing that now?
It doesn't matter. This is our reality here in the state of Texas where we live.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. And it's like, damn it, I was gonna say something about the
So let me ask her. So do you feel like women really are that are irresponsible to where they like I mean is it that many mishaps happening that
Why does the irresponsibility have to fall strictly on the women? The men are the ones that are, have the ability to impregnate, an infinite amount of women in their lifetime, whereas women have so many eggs, you know what I'm saying? So already there's the disparity there. So why does the irresponsibility have to fall on women when you have options like the new 10-year birth control shot for the men that they aren't even publicizing or putting to the forefront, like, here guys, here's another alternative, you know what I'm saying, to help on your end versus getting a vasectomy or anything like that, which is also reversible.
Well, I think that because most of the birth control was not geared toward us. Now, I mean, I think that that's a viable option that I think will be.
It's there now. It's out there,
Yeah,
but it's not being presented.
I think it'll be more. I think it'll be more widely available. But why would a man?
Damn availability. Damn
But
availability. They're making legislation as far as women's bodies. Why not make that a legislation? Why not make
Well,
it?
see, but that's what women always do. But that's what y'all always do, y'all. Yeah, because see, y'all want control over what the man can do, and y'all don't like. He don't have no right to make a decision over your body. But like,
No, he doesn't.
It's still the responsibility of the man to not get the woman pregnant instead of them saying, all right, you know what, this dude, I don't, regardless if it's this dude, the next dude, or whatever. Like, if you don't want to be pregnant, you don't want to deal with that responsibility. Like, because you can be pregnant, and you would have to give up 9 months of your life for this child. Or I mean, that's the beginning. Of course, the 18 years that follows. Why wouldn't you take a step to make sure that you don't get pregnant?
I'm going to preface this statement by saying I'm a very blunt person and I don't know you personally, but you sound like a fucktard right now because you are negating your own personal responsibility. Why can't you take responsibility for your own sperm, sir?
Well, no, I do. I had my first child came at 35, my only child at 35 years old.
I'm not talking about you specifically. You are talking about women as a whole. I'm talking about men as a whole. Why can't you all be responsible for your own sperms, sirs?
Well, look, I can mostly speak for myself, ma'am.
But
but
you're speaking in general as to the women in general. You're speaking
yes,
about all of these women
yes,
and
because
lumping them into one. So you got to be able to take the medicine that you're setting on the table. You got to be able to take your own
I
shot if
can't.
you want somebody
I
else to
can't.
take their shot as well.
I can, and it bothers me not because for one, I mean, this doesn't affect me. This doesn't affect me because
Which is,
I've
and
been
that
responsible.
just
I have
goes
been
back.
I've
That
been
goes back
responsible
to the
with my
whole thing of,
sperm.
you don't have a uterus, so you really shouldn't have a say about it. And,
But I
the
do
whole
because
point really should be moot.
I mean this thing being cluttered all over my television. I mean it obviously gives.
That's
I
because
mean
do you have any daughters?
no,
Oh man. Well, you have a very, very
but I
special
still would
position.
I
There's a
still wouldn't be
very
concerned.
special position for you on a seat in the corner on mute.
But no, that's not true because guess what? I still have a voice that people need to hear because regardless, if I had daughters, I would not allow like I'm gonna like that's not gonna like you're not gonna go out there and just be spreading your pussy around and fucking
And
and
oh
having
my
babies.
God, God bless you. You cannot control
Yeah.
um
So what if your daughter was to get pregnant at 14? What if it
She's gonna.
happened?
I mean, as long as she didn't get raped, she's having the baby because she's gonna have to
Oh, but
take
there's no
responsibility.
protection for rape, baby. There's no protection for rape or incest in this law. So, as far as this law goes, she having the baby regardless. That's what they're saying. And even if at this 14-year-old child has an ectopic pregnancy, which means the baby is developing in the fallopian tube, which is very life-threatening, she's still not allowed to get an abortion. And
Well,
she
I mean,
will die.
well, I tell you what, because I live under different circumstances than the average person. So I mean, I can make a decision that others cannot. So
No,
uh
see, now you're trying to operate outside of the law, which is what we're talking about. We're talking about
no,
the law.
well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I'm self-governing. I don't need the United States or Texas to tell me what I can or cannot do.
That is what women are saying. Essentially, you have hit the nail on the head, but still failed to see your own point.
No, I have not failed to. No, I don't care because it doesn't affect
But you're
me.
very opinionated for someone who doesn't care.
Yeah, but I mean, I just feel like people can easily be more responsible because I mean,
That goes
these
both
mishap,
ways.
these
That door
mishaps,
swings both ways. You cannot
these
just solely say women need to
I
be more
can.
responsible.
I can because
You can't.
yeah, they do. They need to be more responsible because
People people who have sex need to be more responsible.
I agree totally. But at the
And
same
that
time,
goes for
the
both
woman
genders.
the woman is the one who has the most choice in all of this. So,
The woman is the one should have the most choice in all of this. Hence the argument that we're having.
she's most likely the one to decide that the sex is going to happen. She's most likely to decide whether this guy is okay to go without a condom or
God bless you. You've never heard of stealthing, have you?
stealthing.
Stealthing, yes.
What is
It's a
that?
very
Please
real
enlighten
thing.
me. Please
Stealthing is
enlighten
when
me.
a guy starts having sex with a woman, but unbeknownst to the woman, takes the condom off during sex. That's stealthing.
Well, no, I don't know anything about that. I've been legit all my life. I don't play games, and
And once again, you're
I
personalizing it. For someone who
well,
doesn't care, you keep going back to your own personal life.
because I mean, I have to be able to fit it into my own, vision, the things that
That
I
is
can see.
for what? I mean, you fitting it into your own vision doesn't bring any truth to the conversation. That's only your
No,
conversation, your
well,
personal.
it's everything that you're saying is based on opinion as well. Because I mean,
It's
first of all,
not. It is
it is.
absolutely not because I have been raped. I have been coerced. I have been molested by a family member. All of those things could have been me. I can speak on it 100% from my experience.
Okay. Well, you know what? I appreciate hearing what you have to say, but I mean, I have just as much of a voice here too, because under the circumstances, because I mean,
Well,
we're looking,
everybody has their own
we're
opinion. You can think that,
no,
sweetheart, but you
but
really
ma'am,
don't.
Ma'am, listen. Just instead of being so angry, I mean, because
I'm
my
not
thing is,
angry. The
what
thing
within,
about it is you sound like someone who is coming from
I'm
the
not
very
politically
far
correct
outside. And you wouldn't even let me
because I'm
finish.
not
You
because I'm
sound
not
like someone
politically
who's
correct.
you sound like someone who's looking through a blurry window and getting opinions from what you hear outside, not from anywhere inside the situation where you actually can have from some experience some wisdom to add to the particular conversation.
Well, ma'am, I've been living long enough to have. I've had women who had abortions that, decided, with on their own. So yeah, maybe I'm bitter. I don't know. Maybe we can talk. You want to
You
add that
just said
to it?
you didn't
See?
care.
No,
You
what
said
I'm saying.
over and over
No,
you didn't care. It's either
because I
you
didn't
don't care or you're
because I
bitter.
didn't have any say. Because I didn't have any
Shaka,
say.
I'm gonna need you to interject, my boy. I'm gonna need you to
I,
interject.
I'm just I'm here for the popcorn right now,
I'm
but
just saying, my boy, you gotta be hearing what I'm hearing.
I'm hearing you, and you're making the same argument I've been making this whole time, really.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Because
I mean, but from your guest, you gotta be
I
I
have
hearing the
mean,
same thing I'm
just
hearing.
because y'all
I
have
have
the
two
same argument
daughters.
doesn't mean that you're right. I mean, like, look, I mean, we're here now. So I mean, why like, either you do something to make a difference there, or you make the changes you need to keep from being affected by it in totality. Like,
It doesn't affect you. So you are on the outside looking in, spitting opinions.
well, I told him earlier, I want to talk about when we're gonna do something about the fuel. Look, like this conversation, I knew it wasn't for me, but I'm here. I'm glad you came. Y'all can kumbaya as much as y'all want or y'all need, but like, honestly, like, I really like. Look, I look. Women have
It's okay. It's okay.
the women
Hey,
have the
check this
most
out.
decision in
Check
throughout
this
all
out.
of it, and
Hey, check
obviously,
this out. No, listen, sir. Just give me 1 minute. We used to rap together and everything. You know what I'm saying? And I'm used to making men speechless, so it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like you can calm down, you can relax. You don't have to worry about stuttering or anything like that. I'm on
well,
my
I'm trying
shit.
not to be
I know what I'm
offensive.
talking
Like,
about,
I'm trying
and
not to
it's
be
like
offensive,
you.
but
It's okay. You know what I'm saying?
it
It's
is okay. It
okay.
is
It is
okay.
okay.
But since this affects you so much, like, look, be the activist that we want everybody to be. Do something about it.
Oh, what you talking about? Every young girl that I know of, you know what I'm saying, that's in a situation that doesn't have somebody like me in their ear or somebody like Chaka in their ear. I made phone calls and texts to them today. That is my activism. I made sure for them to know that it's real out here in the field, that they don't give a fuck about you, and you might want to just go ahead and close your legs. But guess what comes with that? Guess what comes with the refusal of having sex? More fucking violence. Men already think they control women's bodies as far as partners are concerned. So when you have men and women that have been sleeping together, that have had a sexual relationship and everything, now this law and legislation has come about. The woman
What men
says, "You
do
know
you know?
what? I don't want to
What
have any
men do you know?
babies."
What men do
Excuse me?
you? I'm just. I mean, you with the idea, what you just said. I mean, it
I
just
live in the
brings me
real
to
world of
me
reality. I
too.
keep
Me
up with
too.
news from around the world
Me
and
too.
all around America, and especially women's issues and the violence that is perpetrated against women already without the added factor of refusing to have sex because she don't want to get pregnant. It's already deplorable. Now, just about imagine the numbers, numbers of domestic violence that is going to come about because of women refusing to have sex with their husbands, boyfriends, partners, whatever.
Wow.
It's not a laughing matter, sir.
No,
It is
no,
not a laughing matter,
because
sir.
I look. You know what? The real world that you live in. God, thank God, I don't live in that one.
Well, we live in the same world, sir.
Do we?
Chaka, I had to
Do
jump
we?
on this one because it's like a world issue or whatever, but I can't do it. I love you, brother. Keep doing your thing and everything. You know what I'm saying?
It's hard to do this. It's a struggle.
Yeah. Handle your business. I'm proud of you. I love you. Keep up the good fight and all that other good shit. But I can't do it. All right. Peace. Good night.
All right, love you too.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, man, it's really hard to have these conversations, you know what I'm saying, and not be emotional, especially, topics that like this one.
Well, it depend. I guess it really depends. I mean, I might be a fucktard, I'm an asshole, I'm a whatever, but I'm a realist. And I mean, what do you do? Like, I mean, we're here now. What now? Are you gonna complain about it? Or are you gonna do something about it? I mean, it really comes down to that.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that statement. Um, you know, but look, I think that like the other statement you made earlier, the undoing of the United States, I think that's another thing because the unraveling, man.
What?
This
But
is
but that's. I mean, that's a lot to say, bro. This is if you really been paying attention to politics. I mean, you wouldn't wait to this part to be upset. Like it would be things that has happened way before now that you'll be upset about that led to where we are right now with this.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So like to me, it's like okay, all right, this is just another part of it. You know what I'm saying? For me to be so clueless, bro. I mean, I'm ahead of the game, regardless of what like I mean, hey, you think what you think, what you believe, what you want to believe, but um, I'm not the one that's still like a part of this United States the same way that the average person is.
Let me read this right here. It says, hold on, I want to kind of wait for the beginning part. Because this is a post this guy's made. Let me see if I can even keep up with this. I think I can. It's been kind of crazy day today. Roe versus Wade was overturned by the Supreme Court after almost 50 years of precedence. Having come out as gay man, my understanding of political issue has drastically changed. I've learned how to listen. I'm now fully convinced a woman's body should not be policed by anyone.
Damn.
I don't like the idea of babies being aborted in general. The poor babies have no opportunity to advocate for themselves. However, controlling or restricting a free person's agency over their own body, ignoring the circumstantial and nuanced elements surrounding something as complex as contraception, gestation, and birth is not as just or good thing. The polarized nature of the political landscape today is intense. I used to think it was more noble to me to avoid the mess entirely. I don't believe that anymore. There is one right party. There are judgments. I hope to better listen and be a brave advocate for justice and goodness in the world. To everyone negatively impacted by SCOTUS, something.
Yeah, bro. Look, I'm sympathetic to a certain extent because there are some people that will not justly be affected. That won't be see justice through this. But for somebody, because I mean, there's these little small things that can happen that just that's totally out of your control. But just accidentally getting pregnant, which I've seen many times within my own family, within like just different little situations that I've seen personally and I know of outside of my family, that it's there can be like a lot of those little situations can be fixed. They don't have to happen. You know what I'm saying? And there's like I said, for those things that is uncontrollable, that's out of anyone's control. Yeah, look, let's do what we can do to fix it. But just being careless, that's the part that like, look, this is what we need to teach our girls. Whether I have one that of my own or the ones that I say are mine because they're within my community, that I would tell, because like your daughters, like I look at them like nieces. So they're gonna get your liberal side, they're gonna get my conservative side. I'm gonna tell them, look, you're better off doing this than that, or making sure you do this and this before you do that, because guess what, don't nobody give a shit about you but us in this community right here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I'm gonna tell them the exact same thing. It's just that being in an environment that is oppressive to women, like it's hard for a man to see it. It's hard for a man to feel it. It's kind of like the racism issue, right? You know how like white people be like, oh, it's not really happening, you know, it's
But
not
look,
a real thing. It's because their position in the society makes it really soft on them.
but no, but you got to look at it from this too, because how many like when now just if we look at all of the abortions that happen in this country, the reasons for it. The reason for the abortion usually is not terminal or something that is not even, based on rape or incest. Most of the abortions is based on people not being as responsible as they could be. Like like a last minute. You know what? I really like. You know what? I don't like him as much as I thought I did.
And
He ain't got as much money as I thought he did.
and you're probably right on that. But the point is the health of the women, that the ones that are going to go through it. You know what I'm saying? Is it worth it for these women to go through it just
Well, see,
because of the bad decisions of these other women?
well, my thing is when it comes like if it comes to something that's terminal, if it's really like life or death, like you know what, that's one of those things where you just got to take a chance and just you have to do what you got to do, and then go fight and prove your case why it was necessary.
But
Like
most people don't have the means for that. What I'm saying is most of those girls are going to die. They're not going to be able to. Who's going to listen to them? Where are they going to go? They don't have no money. They don't have nobody to advocate for them. They ran away from home because they was pregnant in the first place.
so the doctors that they're going to are not going to advocate and say, hey, no, I'm looking at this girl, I've been examining her, this is not going to turn out like those are supposed to be your biggest advocates, your doctor.
And how much do you trust the doctors, bro? Come on, how much do you feel like the medical people are gonna advocate for you?
Look, I'm trying here because I mean I'm not dealing with the average doctor. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying not to deal with the whole
Most people don't
pharmacopoeia.
have that. The whole system, the healthcare system is a public
I
system.
feel you, and like I said, I'm trying to be sympathetic here. I'm trying to like because I am very much sympathetic, but at the same time, I still see it the way I see it. But in these cases where it's like not like, are you saying that it's just hopeless if it's not a wide range of like in and out everyday abortion, going on, that we can't as a community make this thing right? I mean, that's kind of what you're telling me, that we ain't shit.
No, these people, first off, everything is manipulated. The media, the movies, the
Exactly.
TV.
That's why we having this argument today, because of the media. Because this is something that if nobody wouldn't have, if it was only like, I mean, of course they need to, make everybody aware that it's up to your state now. Yeah, you got to let everybody know. But this being a fight for the last 50 years, like this is stuff that has been keeping people uproar for all this time. But like who votes the right way?
But there's a reason. There's a reason why it happened. There's a reason. There's a good reason why Roe versus Wade happened. There's a good reason why this happened. And that's not really political. It has to do with what's best for the people.
Okay, which the people have determined that they are not good at making those decisions for themselves, because they have these people in power to make these decisions for them, right? I mean, they don't look at it that way. They don't see that they're giving up that right by doing it, but that's really what they're doing.
I want to read this. This is Immortal Techniques post on the topic. He said, this happened today. Roe versus Wade was overturned. We have talked about the theory of 7 mountains on IGTV before. It revolves around the goals of the religious movements in the USA. They wish to facilitate the reclaiming of family, media, religion, education, entertainment, economy, and government by whatever political means necessary for a theocratic agenda. This here is part of that as well. It will fundamentally, in my eyes, further divide this nation. It will also be the focal point of the 2024 election, and it places this as the center issue for Republicans, which is actually their least popular outside the far-right religious base, immigration being their most popular recruiting issue. I just saw a huge debate on Twitter starting between a large majority of women, but also a sizable portion of religious women who actually support this measure. Red states are now already preparing legislative efforts to absolutely destroy any access to not just abortion, but also birth control of any kind. This has a large reverberating effect. As always, I like to hear from my supporters. It's easy to get attention by posting a bunch of vast oversimplifications. It's harder to speak from the heart. For some religious folks, this day was a victory. For the majority of women I've seen and talked to, it's a step backwards. It's a blow to women's health, considering that endoscopic pregnancies are not considered. And in Louisiana last month, a rapist, you read that right, a rapist who impregnated a 17-year-old girl was granted partial custody. Many states will not consider any exceptions to the ruling and have already stated they will not be making any exceptions, even in cases of rape and incest. Tell me how you feel about the Supreme Court decision.
I mean, look, I think that's horrible because I mean, look, I said a long time ago. Well, I don't know. I've had this conversation a couple times, so maybe I didn't say it here. But let me, because I mean, I feel like there should always have some, you know, when it comes down to rape or incest or something like that. I mean, not only should the person that did the impregnating go to jail, but they should have the mother should have the right to terminate. You know, like if you know, because I mean, I'm just assuming that there's gonna be some kind, you know, like there's gonna be some leftover, you know, like it's gonna be some residual feelings that's gonna happen based on that, you know. I mean, a rape, like I mean, how can you? I don't get that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's something totally out of their control. You know, I don't care if you was wearing booty shorts or this, that, and the other, and that's their excuse for why they say they rape. I don't care about none of that shit. If you, if she said no and you still went ahead, you raped, and you should go to jail, and you should not. This female should be able to have
But
the
you
right
don't.
to term.
But you don't see how that's what leads to that. You know what I'm saying? One thing
How
leads to another.
how what leads to what?
When you make it, when you take all these rights away from the women, that's what leads to men raping men and still getting to have the baby, like what just happened in this case that he just mentioned.
Okay, so you're telling me that because I don't understand because I mean you know I don't live that life. I don't, you know what I'm saying, like you know maybe I've been sheltered so much in my life because I don't just know people who just rape women and you know I mean if I do I don't know that they're doing it. You know what I'm saying? So
If they have more protection in the law, then that just gives them one more option in their day to day.
yeah, but
Today I
it's
might just
so
decide to
but
rape some bitches and
so
make some
it's
babies.
so I mean are they do they have they don't have to you know tell on who this guy is they raped me and or you know she can live with the fact that okay this guy raped me and I let him go with this so that I don't die or whatever you know reason because I mean I don't know I'm like this like you know, you got to tell the truth. Like you just say whatever. If somebody rapes you, tell them who it was, get their ass off the street, and then maybe men will get their minds right so that they ain't going around and doing no crazy shit like this too. Like that, you know what I'm saying? Like
But clearly the law is not on that. And look how many cases have you seen where, and
I haven't seen any cases. That's what I maybe like I said.
about women being raped?
But I mean, the ones that I don't know, the ones I've been hearing about lately, what happened 40, 50 years ago, and you know, they trying to get a check out of them now. That's the ones I've been hearing about. Like I
It
haven't heard anything
happens. It
publicly.
happens every day on college campuses. It happens every day, every day, every day. Let me
Okay.
read. Let me read.
So, but my thing is, okay, so these, you know, do they not know who did it, or do they just choose not to tell on the person and they go get these abortions? Like, I want to understand, so that's why I'm asking these questions, not to be facetious, like to be, you know, I'm not being some kind of way. I'm asking because I really don't get it. You know, the young lady, that was on the phone on here a little while ago. She's partially right. I don't get it. You know, please make me understand.
Yes, a lot of times they are embarrassed to come forth, and the reason why they are because the law is not on their side when it comes to this kind of stuff. And that story that this guy just said is an example of it. He raped the chick, and he gets to get custody of the child. Like, come on, come on. Let me read some more.
So he didn't do any time.
I don't know any more about the case. It was just what Immortal Technique just said. I don't know that case. I don't know the details of it.
All right, yeah, because like, see now, like, you know, I'm more confused than when I began, and like I'm not beneath learning anything, but you know, you know, for the majority of the cases that I know of, can be fixed with just being more responsible. Now, like I said, I mean, rape and incest and these different things, that's a totally different thing to me.
But that's not what's happening. The law is not protecting that. That's
No, I hear you, but that's why I'm saying there needs to be some repair to that. There has to be exceptions. Like, you know, you never make a rule without some form of exception.
there isn't. That's what they were just saying. Let me read some more. Immortal Technique said, I rarely do my own commentary, but let me just say this. When the penalty for raping a woman and or violating and impregnating a child is less than the penalty for aborting a rape, you know there's a problem with the law. That's all. Peace.
We all know that, and you know, I got much respect for Immortal. Um, you know, and what he's saying is true. You know, I don't think, like, because his point on it was way different than mine. I guess he has more of a worldview than I do. But to me, like, I thought I said that before. There should be, you know, there has to be some kind of exception because of, you know, especially rape, or getting pregnant after a rape, how traumatic that can be for anybody. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, there's dudes getting raped in prison right now. I think that, you know, whoever does that in prison should get time for it. But we know that that doesn't happen. You know what I'm saying? They probably could give a damn less. But for the female, the woman, my head is think my whatchamacallit is gonna be going out soon. But
Yeah,
but
I
how
want to read this comment and then make a comment, and then I'm probably gonna start get to the point rapid. Let me read this. It says the rights of disabled people, LGBTQ, stillborn deaths, protecting women if faced with life-threatening complications, chemo, COVID, etc., C-section, contraception. It's much more than what these pro-life thinkers are stating it to be. This decision will affect many of our amendments, and it's only the beginning. And that is a very good comment. And the name of the show today is You Are Next. So this is the argument that I really want to make, is that if you allow the government, the state, or whatever to persecute, attack, separate any group, who's to say that they're not going to come for you next? Whatever group that you're in. You get what I'm saying? A lot of us feel like we're not in the under fire with this particular thing. But the reason why it's important is because we have to be aware of what's happening. And when they come at a certain group, who's to say they're not going to come at you next? That's why we all should protect each other all the time.
Well,
That's
and
my overall point.
I totally agree with you on that. But you know, maybe I'm, you know, gotten so numb for ringing the alarm for, you know, all this time about all these other situations. I'm just kind of like, you know, like I love my people. I love people in general, but you know, it only takes like the rest of the world is on fire, but you know, this is the only thing that you get upset about. Like this is where I have a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many other things that's been going on every day for the last who knows, like 2-3 decades, that you just no big deal. But now, okay, now I'm supposed to get upset with you about this, and I've been upset for the last 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, that's where I'm at. Like, you know, okay, look, I'm glad there's something that got a fire underneath you now. But like, come on, don't, you know, trying to make me the one like this. I'm insensitive. Like, have you like, do you not know that all these other things made it possible for this to happen? Like the people that you love, you know, that you put in office really kind of set the stage for this, or the woman who actually who they wanted in place of the last president was a big proponent. Like this would have happened even sooner if she was in office. Because I mean, I mean, really, like she might as well say Hillary has been talking about this whole abortion all the way to, because like her having those conversations, saying having abortion, that's what fed into the pro-lifers going as hard as they went to to go against Roe versus Wade. Because I mean, if y'all would, if they hadn't been trying to push the mark to that point to where like some, you know what I'm saying, you don't went through 9 months of pregnancy to, you know, to just abort the baby, like was, you know what I'm saying, that some things are just going too far. So if things would have been left alone years ago, I think that there probably could have been some other solution. But not to say that these things can't be fixed, because just like it was changed before, or it came, you know, this, we were able to use this landmark case, which obviously I guess wasn't strong enough really, because for them to, you know, overturn it or to get to the point where the federal government doesn't want to really have anything, don't want to have a decision on that. Like, look, y'all deal with that in your own state. We don't want to deal with that here. Something was just, it was something weak there. But
I'm gonna read some more comments underneath the Immortal Technique video post. This is an Instagram post. It says, really don't have the words, feels discouraging and embarrassing. I'm disgusted at the thought that any group of people think they have the right to make decisions like this for other people. That Louisiana incident you mentioned is insane. Another comment, it says the far right religious are going to get the holy war that they wanted. Their prophecy needs it to come true. Behold the death cult of Christianity. All this suffering for a comic book hero. Sad.
wow, I wonder what religion they were from, or what, you know, because they said the death cult of Christianity. Wow, you don't hear those words come out very often.
Yeah, this is what you get underneath Immortal Technique. He brings them out. I want to read some more. It says, I now have more rights in Peru. If I am raped and it results in an unwanted pregnancy that risks my life, I need to get the fuck out of Florida and head back to the third world, straight to Lima. Another comment, it says, big fan, but respectfully feel like this take is off. Roe was a terrible decision to begin with. Another win for the states' rights, and of course, the unborn in red states. Another one. Comment.
And you know what? Because I was telling my mom earlier, I was like, the only argument that I really heard that was good against abortion is the fact that once the child is here, they don't care about them, like what you played earlier. But there's a lot of things, a lot of decisions. That's just like in a relationship. There's so many things, so many thoughts, so many things that you could do, change your mind before you go and cheat on the person that you're with. You know what I'm saying? There's so many different times where you can turn around and go the other way, but you don't, because it really in your heart you're a cheater. You're just not, you're not loyal to your relationship. Well, but I really feel like there's a lot of things that women and men both can do to make sure that these things, like, because I mean, if you with a guy, he wants kids, and you're taking a chance that he's just not gonna mess up or stealth somebody. I mean, you really got to question yourself, because you knew that there was a chance. Like, this is something that he wants. He don't care.
You thinking like everybody is practical and logical, like.
But we need people to. That's the thing. We like. There should be more practicality. There should be more logic in our decisions. Like, if until we do that, we're gonna have people that's gonna feel like they need to come in and decide for us.
And these people don't know any better than anybody else, and they just want to be controlling of other people. They think they know better than everybody else. They think they know better than the people themselves in their own life.
But if we had a society that was more responsible for themselves, that made more decisions for themselves, didn't lean on the government to do this and do that and whatever, and expect them to come through for them when things going bad, like. I mean, we still, got people who expecting another round of stimulus checks. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, it's tight. I get it, but like all this time, like who's putting a seed in the ground to start growing some food? Because these people are not reliable. You're trusting in a system that's not reliable. They cutthroat. They will change. They will switch up on you in a minute. What have you done to change the situation that you're in?
Let me read another comment. It says, "We do not live in a democracy. 6 unelected people with lifetime appointments control the lives of countless millions of people. We are a failing state."
Okay, now see, but that's the thing. Okay, if that's how you feel about the judicial system of our federal government, like why is that now? Like, it's been like that for almost 200 years. Like, who's argued that or tried to have that change to where you can select them yourself? Like, bro, I don't know, bro. Like, I mean, they wait to be upset about something until like, people have been having the same argument. Like, I mean, this is not a new argument. There's other issues that's been happening where people are like, this is bullshit. Why do these people get to decide this? Blah, blah. Okay, yeah, I'm with you on that. But when, just like how you saying, you next. You know what I'm saying? It's other people who's already been through the fire, who've been going through these different fights, and trying to get other people to say, "Oh, come on, look, let's join together. Let's do something. Like, can you help me with what I've got going on? I'm gonna be there to help you with what you got going on. All right, maybe you don't give a shit what's going on with me right now, but guess what? You want me to give a shit what's going on with you right now."
And let me read this comment. It says, It is infuriating and slap in the face to women to take away our own right to choose for ourselves. I understand I am privileged in this aspect, but my heart hurts for so many women and girls that will suffer because of this ruling. I'm furious that the minority is ruling over the majority and will stop at nothing to overturn many rights that were previously provided in this country. It is beyond ass backwards and makes this country The real shithole country.
I guess, bro. You know, look, people see it how they see it. I honestly, I get, I'm done with that conversation, bro. Hopefully, people will start to see more than, you know, being so selfish, because that's, I mean, that's the biggest problem with this country, the individualism. Like, I mean, you know, y'all fell for the okie doke. The majority of people have fallen for the okie doke, where they don't give a shit about nothing else but what's going on with them. And when the rock hits you in the head and you barking, when you the dog that got hit, now you yelping and wanting people to be all sensitive to what you got going on, and then you've said screw everybody else that's been saying the same thing for 100 years or more. So
I want to read this one last thing. This was posted by Viola Davis, the actor. It's probably a repost from somebody else's page. Let me read it. It's a text video, so I'm going to try to keep up with it. All right. Friendly reminder: banning abortion will not make women's lives safer, improve quality of life, reduce the number of abortions. Banning abortion will increase pregnancy-related deaths, force women birth child. I couldn't say that. We're being played by our politicians. The Democrats have 50 years to make this bill. Reproductive rights are basic human rights.
I believe part of that. I believe that it will reduce some of the abortions, whether it's those who choose to, you know, do different things, or just the fact that they can't get them. You know, there'll be, you know, more full-term pregnancies or whatever. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, are they not? Because I mean, if they leave it up to doctors, if you got your physicians to say this is unhealthy, which they'll be able to see it. Like any woman that knows that something's in this tube or whatever, it's not just because they just like, oh, you know what, I think my baby's got caught up in this. No, it's a doctor that told them that. I don't know, bro. You know what? I gotta leave it alone, bro, because like to me it's just like, so to me some of this stuff sounds like bad faith arguments, and some people just want to just kind of say something to say that they said something, you know, being politically correct. I really, that's kind of what I'm sensing through some of these, you know what I'm saying? Like I could tell that some of these people are really genuine or whatever, but that one, I don't think that was quite genuine. I think she was just saying something so that she could say that she said it probably wasn't even her. It was probably somebody in her camp that you know, somebody that's over her IG or something. I don't know, but that don't sound like a really good argument. Well, look, bro, I'm gonna go to bed, man. This
Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it.
Your girl done told me off tonight and stuff, so you know I ain't shit. You know, I don't know. I ain't lived no life. I don't know nothing. And you know what? I have not lived the life that a lot of people live. You know what I'm saying? I've played it safe. I've called, you know, saying listen to what my parents told me to do. Well, not all of it, but because I mean, you know, I done some crazy shit too. But you know, first, you know, you already talking to somebody who don't believe in abortions. Like I don't, you know, unless it's some real dire, you know, like it's something, you know, saying it's life threatening. That's the only reason for it in my eyes. So I mean, you preaching to the choir with all of that. So. But I done seen some, like I know females, I know a bunch of them. I got most of my family were girls, and well, but some of them would play the whole, they wasn't even pregnant, but you playing the whole abortion thing. They ain't gonna be able to do that no more. Or telling some dude they messing with or cheating with or whatever, they pregnant, now they got to get money out the dude to go get an abortion.
Yeah,
that's gonna limit that.
Yeah.
But
all right, man. Here's Michael Rappaport. Let's hear him.
Oh Lord.
Pubic hair clearance, you freak, you freaky little horny old dirty breath. And I know your breath smells like old coffee, newspaper, and stale Band-Aids, you creepy kook, you. You overturned Roe versus Wade. And the leader of the pack, Clarence Thomas, you handsy, good-for-nothing, sexual harassing motherfucker, you creep. You creep. If you had gotten what you want from Anita Hill with your overtures and your sexual advancements, and you had somehow, some way impregnated her, right? Being married and all that, right? Mr. Judge, Mr. Supreme Court Judge. If you had impregnated an Anita Hill, what would you have done with that baby, you fucking worm, you? You'd have aborted it. You'd have paid for the abortion and you'd have paid the hush money because you're a creep, cock, sucker, you. Bunch of fake, phony motherfuckers out there.
Listen to him.
What would you have done with that baby, Clarence? Pubic hair Clarence, you freak. You freaky little horny old dirty breath. And I know your breath smells like old coffee, newspaper, and stale Band-Aids, you creep.
He said old coffee. Why you say newspaper?
He sounds really upset. And but that sounds like one of those guys who's, like enjoys the fact that there's abortions because he don't want to be responsible for his mistakes. You know what? Here, here, just take this money. Matter of fact, instead of the, 3, 4, whatever, however much it is, here, just take 2,500. Get a room, enjoy yourself. Get some bottle of wine before you go. Like, I mean.
He said stale coffee and newspapers. Why does breath smell like newspapers? Was he chewing on the newspaper?
That's horrible.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, man, I'm going to have to wrap it, y'all. I'm tired.
Yeah, man, I feel you.
And I got to work all freaking day tomorrow.
Well, do your thing, bro. I might be up tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the show tomorrow because I really wanna go back over some of the stuff that when they canceled when they blocked the damn show. I want to recover some of that stuff. Even though I'm gonna make videos of them, it's gonna be way better the video that I did originally. But whatever, I still want to go back over a bit of that, and I hope y'all are here so we could talk about it because I wanted to hear y'all's comments on it because the other part was India and the Muslims in India and how they treat the Muslims in India. You know what I'm saying? And the dynamic over there is so similar to over here in different ways. And, because see, the Muslims are the minority in population over there. It's the Hindus are the majority. So it's just an interesting dynamic.
It's pretty much Christian, right?
No, it's Hindu.
I don't know. Most people, I don't know. I guess maybe when they come here, Christianity is the closest thing to what they practice at home. But okay.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people aren't aware of that kind of stuff. But if you look at it, it'll help you understand, your situation, your society, the dynamics that are going on in, your part of the world.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's fine. Hopefully, yeah, we'll have a good discussion on that. I don't know, you guys, because should I go back and watch the?
I didn't send any videos to y'all, but if you can pull up the day before yesterday's video somewhere, It's somewhere. They blocked it on YouTube and Facebook, but it's on Rumble, Twitch, and Twitter.
The only one I think I saw was the one. It was like a 20-minute video. I was like, okay, this is something he chopped up and put up there. But
Yeah, those are the later ones. I've been doing them shorter. So, and that's what I'm gonna end up doing. What that's cool. Probably just wait for that, because I'm gonna make chops of that. It's gonna be great. I hope y'all check them out. Because I really did a good job. It sucks that they blocked that fucking video. It was a good video. I'm definitely making chops of it.
yeah,
But anyways, peace and love, y'all. I'm gonna be back tomorrow because I really want to wrap the week up. I didn't get to
For
do
sure.
a show yesterday. I try to do at least 3 shows every week.
for sure. Well, yeah,
All
man.
right, man.
I'll be back on the road, but
I'm gonna try to come on early as possible.
all right, that's
All
cool.
right.
I look. I didn't look. A girl looked like she was trying to extinguish me. I never. I don't think I ever pissed anybody off that much. She came on there and told me.
It's a real sensitive subject, and I wanted to say earlier, I really feel like in the United States, education is the issue, and that's the reason why they spending money. Now it's okay. This is another part of this whole thing. They're dumping money into these religious schools, public money, tax money. That shouldn't be.
But there's money for us to do the same thing, and we can have our schools to teach what we want. Like if we wanted to focus more on like the history and teaching our children more about what this country really is.
We
Like
need to have a
we could do,
baseline for everybody to be educated. We go around with all these
but
people don't know
man,
shit.
give up on that, bro. Because just like they did with this whole idea, like just the thought of CRT becoming something, they lost their mind. So, bro, just for you to even think that we can come together and say there's a baseline of fairness, of real truth, like, bro, like I don't know what reality you've been living in.
No, it's just an
It's a
baseline
great.
education for everybody.
That's what they've been doing, but they've been robbing people of the truth. You believe that?
I don't like the system. It's a factory workers creating factory workers. Yes, that shit is fucked up. But
Just let it burn, bro. Just let it burn. Like that's honest. Like I am so usher when it comes to this system. You just gotta let it burn. I ain't no great singer, so I ain't even gonna try it, but just let it burn, bro.
Doc says, as long as both sides want to start indoctrinating children, neither side can be trusted to educate our kids. That's why neither side should be trusted to educate our kids, and we have a middleman to do it.
Well, no, because the middle, bro. Say, man, look, we just gotta take responsibility for our own because guess what? They're gonna always have a point of view that they want their children to see the world from, even if it's a lie, and whether regardless of what we decide or we feel is the truth, guess what? It's gonna always be an opposing factor. So, like, just to think that we can have some true balance between like it's just not gonna happen.
But that's what we should be striving for. Check out my green screen. You see the green screen? I really think it looks pretty cool. Shout out to women.
What is it gonna
The woman, she's supposed to be the balance. She's not supposed to be oppressed by the other side. We're supposed to be balancing each other and holding each other up. That's the way it's supposed to work. The universe is the yin and the yang.
Man,
Chaos, order.
bro, women gave up on men like that, like especially in the political realm. Like they deal with us because they want something from us, but like as far as like truly caring and loving and like not even for their own sons do they care what happened to them. Bro, come on, man. Like I don't look. I have my I know I have my issues with all of this. You know, this is one conversation, but I can't just look at it just one-sided. Like we looking at the totality of how, like when you know, when the civil rights era came and women realized they could be a minority. Oh, screw our men, because I can be a minority on my own and get more shit by myself. You know, screw you.
So then we should retaliate to them and make them
It
not
ain't no
have abortions.
it's not. I don't see that. It's not retaliating. That's your bullshit argument. That's not I haven't done anything against women ever. But me telling the truth about it, that's me going against them. Oh, crickets.
No, it's the supporting of the policies that these people have. Like,
bro, when we was looking for the support for our black movement, that where we was doing things for both of us, they left us high and dry. They are the majority. Like they are the ones that we fight for the most part. When they said fuck it, then it's just like, all right, well, I guess, you know, we don't have a family to fight for anymore.
all right, y'all. Peace and love.
I mean, that's the reality of it, and I know, like a lot of people don't, you know. Yeah, we having this discussion, but we know they need a reminder of what happened, like how these things got to where they are.
Yeah.
Black men, you know, not running out to go help you in this fight and that fight, the other, is because shit, y'all done ran out on us so many times. It's like, why am I exerting all my energy to still come up with nothing?
Doc says the decision has nothing about the legality of abortion. It returns the legalization back to the states. Even Ruth Bader Ginsburg said it was not a constitutional issue.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be hard, but see, and that's the thing. Most of the states agree. So that's where the problem is. You know what I'm saying? The government was giving them a cover. So like, okay, your problem is with the United States, not Texas, not because I mean Texas and Florida, they've been feeling that way for the longest. That's nothing. It's nothing new about it.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to wrap it. I'll be
All right,
back
bro.
tomorrow. Get
All
some
right.
rest.
For
Peace
sure.
and love. Hopefully
Peace
we
and
won't talk about this topic.
Yes, hopefully. I'm praying.
It might pop up just because it's in the news, but
Oh, boy.
we're gonna avoid it. I'm gonna try to avoid it.